The results are in. Guess who was voted by fans in an ESPN poll as the greatest college basketball player ever? And guess who crushed Larry Bird in the finals by getting 71% of the vote? Guess who is obviously Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Greatest college player, greatest pro player. And by the way, on the way to the finals, Michael Jordan crushed in order in head-to-head matchups Nancy Lieberman, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Steph Curry, Magic Johnson, and of course, Larry Bird. Whoa, what a tour de force. Shannon Sharpe, what is your reaction to this development?
Skip, I love Michael Jordan. I'm probably partially responsible for him being a billionaire with all those shoes that I purchased over the years. But Skip, Skip, you know he's not the best collegiate player of all time. Even Magic Johnson, the great Magic Johnson, said, one Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Skip, how do you get better? Then you play 3 years of college ball. You win the national championship all 3 years. You National Player of the Year all 3 years. Your most outstanding player all 3 years of those finals. And you go 88-2 and you lost both of those games by 2 points. How do you get better than that? Skip, come on. They changed the rules. Kareem was so dominant, they said, you can't dunk anymore. Kareem says, huh? Okay, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to come up with a shot that nobody's going to be able to ever replicate again, and it's going to be the most unstoppable shot in NBA history. The sky hook. And he perfected it. We see guys throw it occasionally, but nobody can throw it like Kareem. Nobody can throw it with the consistency, with the distance that I think I might have saw him maybe 1 or 2 times shoot from the outside, Skip, a conventional shot like he shot from the free throw line. But other than that, everything else was the sky hook. Skip, I want to ask you a question. Of the people that voted in this, how many people you think saw Larry Bird play? Now, Larry Bird last played in college in 1979, which was 41 years ago. I remember it because I was 10, I was about to be 11 years of age. So I remember it. So the people that vote, how many, so basically you had to be at least, I'm going to say, between the ages of 48 and 50, 52, 53 to truly remember Larry Bird. How many people between that age you think got on Twitter and IG and voted? Exactly.
Millions.
Skip, do you realize that, stop it. Do you realize that Larry Bird averaged 30 and 13 in college? He's one of 3 players, Elvin Hayes, Larry Bird, and Elgin Baylor. Kareem and Wilt didn't average enough. Wilt Chamberlain was 29 and 18. Kareem was 26 and 15, so they didn't have enough points. But I'm thinking Wilt was 29 and 18. But Skip, stop this. I said yesterday that Michael wasn't a great player. Mike was a great college player. He was just not the greatest college player. I'm not taking him over Kareem. Skip, you know Christian Laettner had a better college career than Michael Jordan. There were some other players that had greater college careers. But Skip, you can't, like I said, it's kind of like critiquing Tom Brady. You cannot critique him without mentioning and knowing what he's already done. So if you critique 2019, but he's 6-3 in Super Bowls, and he has 31 postseason playoff wins. So Skip, it's hard to get past that. Skip, it's hard to get past that logo. It's hard to get past that shoe. It's hard to get past what he's been able to do once he left college. Skip, you can't be the greatest college player and you only win 1 national title, one National Player of the Year. When you got guys that's done that twice and stayed all 4 years, no, congratulations, but you, Skip, they need to stop this now.
Okay. Once again, you're hot today, and you're making some very good points. But again, as usual, you're missing the biggest point. So to your first point about Kareem, Our friend Lil Wayne texted me last night and said, absolutely, he's with you, that it's Kareem was the greatest college player ever. So I respect that because Lil Wayne has deep, strong sports knowledge. And when he speaks,
Yes.
I listen. But I will be the first to admit I was surprised by this vote all along because I thought maybe Jordan would lose in an earlier round. I don't know, head-to-head with Steph or something. I don't know, just because of Steph's popularity.
No.
So I was pleasantly shocked that he continued to just dominate this tournament all the way to the finals and then crush Larry Bird, because I made a joke to you a couple of shows ago. I was surprised LeBron wasn't leading this competition, and he didn't even play college basketball. But the point is that people still understand that Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player ever, college, pro, whatever, grade school. He was the greatest basketball player ever. And was I surprised that legions of what I call blind witnesses, led by you, Shannon Sharpe, didn't rally en masse to vote for Larry Bird to defeat Michael Jordan? I thought that would happen. I thought there'd be an overflow of LeBron support for Larry Bird, and that Larry Bird would eke out a win in the finals. And I wouldn't have had a huge problem with that, because I told you the greatest underdog run to an NCAA finals was in 1979. Again, I was there for the national championship game in Salt Lake, but Larry Bird carried 4 guys from Terre Haute, basically, to a 33-0 in the NCAA finals. They did not play that well or give much of a challenge to Magic Johnson and Gregory Kelser in Michigan State, but still, they got there, and it was an unbelievable run through some very good teams, such as Arkansas, coached by Eddie Sutton, and then DePaul, Ray Meyer, and Joey Meyer's team, featuring Mark Aguirre, to get to Magic Johnson and Greg Kelser. But again, it didn't happen because people get it. And I want to thank all the people watching right now who voted for Jordan, because you get it. You understand deep down, just intrinsically, that the GOAT of all times, of anything basketball, was the original number 23, Michael Jordan. And I'm so happy today that it's driving home the point that Jordan is just better than LeBron, and in every way, shape, and form.
Oh, my God.
And Shannon, remember, people have now at least been reminded again that Michael Jordan won a championship in college with a last-second shot, and he won his last championship in Chicago and as a pro with a last-second shot. Little push-off on Byron Russell, but in Utah, and of all places, in Salt Lake City, where the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson thing started in the beginning. But Michael beat Georgetown, a great Georgetown team featuring Patrick Ewing and Sleepy Floyd, with a jump shot, something LeBron has never really mastered, that mid-range jump shot. That one was from maybe 18 feet.
Oh, stop it.
Swished it, 15 seconds left to beat Georgetown by 1 point. And remember, that was a do or die. That's the one I always tell you. LeBron really shies away from do or die, because that was a 1-point game. You had to make that shot to win by 1, and he made it. And he had to make that shot at Utah to win by a point, and he made it. And those are 2 of the most iconic shots in basketball history, and it just puts an exclamation point on the career of Michael Jordan. He did it, and that was as a true freshman at North Carolina.
Yeah.
So he announced his arrival as a true freshman in the NCAA championship game in New Orleans. I was there courtside for that game. I didn't even know who he was, really, except he was Mike Jordan at that point, and suddenly he was Michael Jordan. So I'm loving the fact today that everybody gets to soak in the greatness of Michael as a college player as well as an NBA player. And I'm loving it that it is killing my debate partner, Shannon Sharpe.
It is killing me. Skip, let me ask you a question. Who do you think is the greatest college football player of all time? In your estimation, I mean, you covered. I mean, you covered sports 40 years. Who do you think is the greatest college football player of all time?
I don't know. I hate to
Why
just
isn't it Tom
blurt
Brady?
something out because I need to sleep on it.
Well, I want to know why isn't it Tom Brady?
Can I answer that?
Yes.
Let me answer? Okay,
Yes.
I will. Because his coach at Michigan could not see the forest for the trees because he was constantly fighting for and sometimes losing the quarterback job at Michigan to two other quarterbacks. There was like musical quarterbacks going on. And yet, when I finally got to see Tom Brady in all his glory in his final college game, a bowl game against Alabama in the Orange Bowl, I watched the whole thing from start to finish. And I'm not saying I saw Tom Brady coming, but I saw a really good college quarterback who lit up Alabama that day, or night it was, for 350 yards passing. You could see it coming. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was a really good pick for New England to be able to steal him in the 6th round. Again, I did not see this coming, but it hit home that Michigan screwed this up year after year after year by not giving him the reins to the football team. Similarly, you have said this many times. What's the biggest cliche about Michael Jordan's college career is that only one man could stop Michael Jordan, and that was Dean Smith, his coach at North Carolina, the legendary Dean Smith, who allowed Michael to shoot only 11 shots a game as a freshman, and then 15 as a sophomore and 15 as a junior. That's paltry. That's unconscionable. That's almost a crime that Michael's team, because he didn't get to shoot enough, he wasn't featured enough in a share the ball system, that they got knocked out by Georgia the next year, and then they lost to Bobby Knight's Indiana. There's no huge shame in that. One step from getting to another Final Four.
Skip, I remember that was Hugh Durham, Georgia head coach, and Vern Fleming, and Georgia went all the way to the Final Four that year. I think they ended up losing to NC State, who turned
at Albuquerque.
Ended up winning.
I was there.
Yep, yep. And they lost to NC State, and we know what happened. That was '83, and we know what happened. Skip, Houston Cougars and NC State, and Lorenzo Charles dunks the ball, and they win that ball game. But Skip, if you think about when Larry averaged 30 and 13, he did that without the three-point shot. Imagine if he'd had a three-point shot in college, Skip. What would those numbers look like? It might have been 40 and 13 or 37, 38 and 13. But Skip, for anybody in college, and like Skip, I think they had this vote. I think ESPN did do this. And I think Herschel Walker, if I'm not mistaken, Herschel Walker was voted the greatest college football player of all time. Skip, he's not a top 15 NFL running back if you do it all time. But so you could be one and not the other. Skip, look, we're going to go back and forth. I believe it's GOAT James. You say Michael. Okay, we're going to go back and forth until the end of time. But college is not close. College is not even close. Michael Jordan, I wouldn't even put Michael in the top 5 college basketball players of all time. If you did it correctly, if you get the top writers of all time that says, okay, give me your 5 greatest basketball players of all time. How you get Kareem not in that? How you get Russell? Skip, because you remember Russell, I think Russell won 54 straight games, back-to-back championships with the Dons in San Francisco.
San Francisco, yep.
I don't, Skip, stop this. See, what you try to do, you try to paint me out to be the bad guy. Because I say Michael isn't the greatest college basketball player, that's because I'm standing for LeBron. Well, no, Skip, we saw Magic Johnson not play in the NBA and get voted to the All-Star game. So we know when fans get, Skip, they vote, I like who I like, and if I can put him in, I'm put him in there. Skip, but he's not the greatest college basketball player. He was great, not the greatest, EST. Great, not greatest.
So I would recommend for everybody watching right now, if you have a minute, and it seems like we all have a minute these days, to go to ESPN.com. I know it's our rival, but go there and read a piece that's posted right now by G.O.A.T, ESPN's college basketball expert, who obviously played at Duke for his, yeah. Did you? Okay. Well, then you read all the great quotes because Bayless played against Michael for, was it 2 of his 3 years? I believe it was. Jay was, I think it was 2 out of 3 years. But the point was, Jay saw Michael at his college best. And the first time they played, Jay points out that Michael Jordan hit his head on the backboard. And Jay Bayless said he had never seen anybody do it. He didn't just graze the backboard. He banged his noggin on the bottom of the backboard hard because he was still rising. And it shocked Jay because he didn't think any human would be capable of doing that. And then Jay projected that Jordan into today's college or pro basketball. And he just said, basically, nobody today could have guarded that guy. And especially today with the emphasis on the three-point shot that was not emphasized in Michael's day. He didn't even have it there when he was in college, but it wasn't emphasized in his pro basketball days, that it would have opened up the game for Jordan in ways unforeseen, that he would have been even more dominating as a scorer. And I remind everybody, he won 10 NBA scoring titles to only 1 for LeBron James. And that was without any emphasis on the three-point shot by him or by other coaches or his coach. So the game was tighter played, tighter officiated. It was more of football, basketball in Michael's day, hence the book, The Jordan Rules, by the Detroit Bad Boy Pistons, who just played football with Jordan and just tried to beat the you-know-what out of him to try to hold him down and contain him. And they were able to barely contain him as they met 3 straight times in the playoffs and overcoming as he took them to 4-game, 5-game, 5, 6, and then 7 games. Go ahead.
Skip, if you're going to say that the three-point line there been an emphasis on it and there's more space, imagine Shaq with three-point shooters on his roster. Put Kareem with Steph Curry. Where the double team coming from? And he's going to go throw that sky hook one-on-one all night long. Kareem's going to average 40. Yeah, there are a lot of guys, Skip, if you put them in today's game with the way the game is spaced out and with the speed, the tempo of the game, yes. That's why you see a lot of these triple-doubles, because there's a lot more missed shots. There's a lot more shots to begin with. There's a lot more missed shots also. But, Skip, all that being true, I'm not talking about the NBA. You keep trying to take it to the NBA. I know he won 6 titles. I know he won 10 scoring titles. I know he's a 5-time MVP with 6 finals MVP. But that ain't got nothing to do with college. And in college, Kareem is the gold standard. Kareem is the Buddha, the grand poobah. He is the mythical. He's what everybody should be compared to. Skip, like you told me, Skip, you can't get better than 6-0. Well, you can't get better than 3-0. And he couldn't play as a freshman. And his freshman team beat Coach Wooden's team that actually won the title. They beat him. A freshman beat a national championship team. That's what Kareem did. He lost 2 games, 88-2, by a grand total of 4 points. 3, 3, and 3. 3 national titles, 3 most outstanding players, 3 national players of the year. You can't get any better than that. Skip, you told me Michael Jordan was perfect. Well, he wasn't perfect in college. Because remember, Indiana knocked him out his last year. Beat him down.
Did not KareemAbdulJabbar go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, hold on. But see, I know what you're going to go to. You're talking about he played with these other players. Well, on the team that won the national championship, it was James Worthy, Jimmy Black, Sam Perkins, Michael Jordan, and Matt Doherty. And the year he got beat, Brad Doherty was the #1 overall pick of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Kenny Smith, and Sam Perkins, and Michael Jordan, and they got the brakes beat off them. Now, which one of those guys did not go in the first round, Skip? Because Brad Doherty was #1 overall, and Michael Jordan was #3 overall. And I forget where Kenny Smith went. If I'm not mistaken, Kenny Smith was a top pick also. So stop this notion that, because Kareem played with great players, that's why. Michael Jordan played with other great players also.
Okay, I hear you. But Kareem, who was then Lou Alcindor, as we know, got to play for the greatest college coach ever, who utilized Kareem's talents in ways that Dean Smith did not utilize Michael Jordan's talents. And I'm going to say it again. College basketball is more of a guard-driven game. And Kareem was blessed his sophomore and junior years to have the two best guards in all of college basketball in Lucius Allen and Mike Warren. Lucius Allen was the 3rd overall pick in the draft. Mike Warren would have been a higher draft pick, but he wanted to become an actor. And thanks to Hill Street Blues, he became a really good, he was a fine actor for a long time. So the point was that not only did he have the two best guards, but then by Kareem's junior year, as the recruits just poured in, he had Sidney Wicks and Curtis Rowe, 2 studs who were going to become, Sidney Wicks became a 4-time All-Star. It was just supreme talent that I think was even a little beyond Michael's talent in the end, because he did have John Wooden pulling all the strings and the genius of John Wooden around him. But I'm taking nothing away. I'm just saying that I think Michael Jordan got shackled by Dean Smith, and it was so bad that none of us could see Michael coming the way we should have seen him coming. And the point was, he was drafted 3rd overall. And you can't argue Hakeem to Houston, although now in hindsight you can. But Sam Bowie to Portland. And again, I told you the story. Bobby Knight recommended to Portland, you better take Michael Jordan. And the answer was, well, we need a center. Well, play Michael at center, said Bobby Knight. And I would have agreed with that sentiment. But okay, so it's just, you couldn't quite see Michael in college. But look, Shannon, what if we just, the reason this whole thing irks me, drives me nuts, is that let's forget about college. That's just the cherry on top. But I still have to sit on a daily basis when we have real basketball games being played and watch you come in every other day wearing a GOAT mask, proclaiming that LeBron James is the GOAT, when it's just laughable. It's not even close. Even if we just do NBA career to career, you can't argue with 6 championships and 6 finals MVPs. You can't argue with 10 scoring titles to 1 and 5 MVPs to 4 and 3 steals titles to 0. And we're talking about the clutchest, mentally toughest player who ever walked this planet, Michael Jordan. And LeBron has had so many epic failures in his career when he wasn't the mentally toughest player. In fact, I can make the case he's been the mentally weakest superstar in key moments, such as the 2011 finals, the 2014 finals, various playoff series against Boston, the last game, the last series that he was the first to go around with the Cleveland Cavaliers when his owner accused him of quitting. Then against the Magic after he hits the shot heard around the world. It's just one epic failure after another that Michael Jordan never had.
But yes, he did, Skip. You keep saying, well, LeBron failed against the Celtics. Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo. The moment the playing fields were level, what happened? He beat Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce so bad, they wanted to run it back. They went to Brooklyn and teamed up with Joe Johnson and Darren Williams, and they bust that up and put the Nets in purgatory, put them in hell because they gave up all those first-round picks to get them, and LeBron broke it up after a year. So stop this notion, Skip Bayless. And all I know is that you say he's unclutched and he's mentally weak. All I know is he got more game-winning shots than Michael Jordan. And you need to explain that for a guy that's so fragile mentally and psychologically. How could he have more game-winning shots than Mike?
How do you explain that he has consistently run from the late game, close game free throw line, and that statistically he is the worst high-volume late-game free throw shooter in the history of this league? That Achilles heel alone disqualifies him from the GOAT race. And we're going to talk about LeBron's free throws in just a moment, but I'm sorry. It just disqualifies him. He is, by superstar standards, he's a horrible free throw shooter. You can't defend it. It's just game over, even if we just do free throws in pro basketball versus pro basketball. Michael Jordan was an 85% free throw shooter. LeBron's way down at 74%. It's shameful for a guy of his caliber.
Hey, Skip, I would Skip. You can't have everything. Yes, I would like for LeBron to be able to shoot the three with the consistency and the accuracy of Steph. Yes, I would like for him to be able to shoot the free throws like Mark Price. But Skip, you can't have everything. Imagine if Shaq could shoot free throws and could develop the 15-foot jump shot and was still as dominant as he was in the post. Skip, you can't have everything. You want the guy to have everything?
They're called free throws for a reason. And LeBron James is the point guard. As a point guard, you have to make your free throws. He's not 7 feet, 2 inches tall like Kareem.
We don't like free throws.
Kareem was a 72%. Oh, come on. Stop it.
We don't like free throws.
Okay.
We don't like free throws. We pay for everything.
I've had enough of this. I've had enough of this. Enough of this.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.